Well, it's time now for all tonight's sports news with Ben Phillip.
He's created an opening here. He's really turning on the style. What a match! STV Sports News, sponsored by Wholesale Domestic Bathrooms.
Good evening. New Dundee striker Benjamin Kalman is determined to bring goals to Dens Park. The 20-year-old Finnish international has joined the Dark Blues on a season-long loan from Inter Turku. Here's Stephanie Daly.
Benjamin Kalman arrived at Dens Park today vowing to bring goals. With Dundee having failed to convert chances in the opening weeks of the season, boss Neil McCann has fought off competition to bolster his striking options. The 20-year-old has signed a season-long loan from Inter Turku, and the Dark Blues will have the option to buy the Finnish international.
I'm going to bring a Finnish so-called wolf that will just do anything for success on the pitch, and they can see that I'm a strong player that will fight until the end and hopefully get the goals as well.
Kalman teams up at Dens with fellow Finnish cap Glenn Kamara.
Of course, I knew he was here, and we played together as well. So I feel it feels great to have Glenn here. He can like some familiar face at least, and he's a great player. We all know that.
We're bringing in somebody of quality, I believe. Bringing in someone who's young and hungry, and got a lot of desire to go and succeed. He's already become a full internationalist. A nationalist at friendly level. We want to get him into now to the full squad alongside Glenn, what he did here coming. So he'll see that as well, that Glenn's come here and become a full internationalist at Dundee.
Kalman's arrival is perfect timing for Dundee, and he goes straight into the squad for tomorrow's Betfred Cup visit of Ayr United. And McCann isn't finished in the transfer market yet. He hopes to bring in one or two more new faces. Stephanie Daly, STV News, Dundee.
Murray Davidson is said to make his 300th appearance for St Johnstone when Saints travel to Queen of the South in the League Cup tomorrow. The 30-year-old has spent a near decade at McDermott Park, having signed under Derek McInnes in 2009. It's a major milestone given the serious injuries the midfielder suffered during his career.
In football, I think you've got to be mentally strong. You've got to. There's knockbacks every week, so setbacks every week. So you have to think positive, and I never ever doubted that I would come back, and here I am. So I've obviously done something right.
How much of a servant has he been to the club?
How many sleepless nights have I had, Williams? Probably with it. Murray's been he's been brilliant. He's probably been in my office more times than any other player. Not that he's a bad lad, he just gets up to a lot of mischief, and but he's been a really good servant to the club, and the fact that he's got the 300 when you think of the serious injuries he's had over the time as well is testament to his mental strength.
Elsewhere in the Cup, new Aberdeen signing James Wilson could make his debut when the Dons host newly promoted St Mirren at Pittodrie tomorrow. Meanwhile, Don Cowie could be making his second debut for Ross County when they travel to Easter Road to face Hibernian. Aberdeen will be looking to get their league campaign off to a winning start when they welcome St Mirren to Pittodrie tomorrow. The Dons cruise to a 4-1 victory over the Buddies when they last visited the Granite City in the Scottish Cup last year. Potentially making his debut is Aberdeen's latest arrival, 22-year-old striker James Wilson.
We've been keen to get James, and once you've waited that long, there's no point in waiting any further. Let's get him out on the pitch and hopefully, as I say, he's off to a winning start and a productive start. We've got high expectations of everybody this season, and James is one of those that we fully expect will help us meet the demand.
Don Cowie could also be making his debut for Ross County as he embarks on his second spell with the club to help them secure promotion back to the Premier League. County travel to the capital for Sunday's clash with Hibernian.
It's a great challenge for us. We're playing against one of the best teams in the country at one of the hardest venues, and that's something going to Easter Road should give us a lift, but it gives us a good gauge of where we're at. We feel as if we're progressing well as things stand just now, but this is a huge challenge for us, but one that we've got to look forward to, and players pitch themselves against some of the best in the country, which is what you want to do, so we'll look forward to it, and it should be a good game.
The Highbees will be looking to bounce back after being knocked out of Europa League qualifying at the hands of Molde last night, the Norwegian side winning 3-0. Elsewhere in the Betfred Cup, Rangers, who booked a place in the Europa League playoffs after winning 3-1 on aggregate against Maribor, will travel to Kilmarnock on Sunday. In other matches, Partick Thistle take on Celtic at Firhill, Dunfermline play Hearts, and Motherwell travel to newly promoted Livingston. Rugby now, and ahead of tomorrow's Perth encounter, Glasgow Warriors have announced their new co-captains. Scotland international Ryan Wilson and New Zealand back row Callum Gibbons will lead the side this season. The Warriors trained at Perth's North Inch today ahead of tomorrow's game against Harlequins.
We were just saying how stunning the pitch looked, and they've put up the temporary stands, and it's looking really cool actually. So the boys are excited. They just had their team run, and they'll be looking to get out on that pitch and have a good time tomorrow.
What about you, Callum? How much are you looking forward to playing here in Perth?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. We had a couple of games like this back home in New Zealand, where you come to a place that doesn't usually get a game like this, so it's really exciting to see, and hopefully there'll be a good turnout, and yeah, it'll be fun.
And that's all your sport from me for tonight.
He's created an opening here. He's really turning on the style. What a match! STV Sports News, sponsored by Wholesale Domestic Bathrooms.